Yes.
All right, thank you, Detective. I don't have any other questions.
Any cross-exam for this witness, sir?
Yep.
All right, thank you. Begin when you're ready.
So, Officer Rowe, you repeatedly referred to the alleged defendant's name. How did you come into that information?
Based on the entirety of the investigation.
And when did you come into the knowledge of the alleged defendant's name?
I don't remember.
When did your part of the investigation start?
After he drove the SUV through the parade, I was called at home to come in and help the departments with the investigation.
And just so we clear for the record, is the jury asking you questions or me?
I'm sorry, I did not hear the question. Repeat your question, please.
Well, I was referring to when I ask a question, he turns towards the jury as if they're the ones asking the question.
That's not a question, Your Honor. That's a
It is a
statement.
question.
We did ask a question about that.
Yes.
I think you're asking why does he do that? To that extent, the witness may answer.
I'm here to present the case to the jury.
So, I follow that fundamentally. But for the sake of making sure you hear the questions right, wouldn't it be fair to say that you should pay attention to the questions being answered,
Objection,
being asked,
argumentative,
rather?
assumes the fact, not in evidence.
Sustained as to the form of the question. Please rephrase.
Wouldn't it make sense to focus on the questions so you can hear them clearly?
Objection, argumentative, still assumes the fact, not in evidence.
Sustained.
You made reference to you being here to present the case to the jury. So is that the reason why you decided to testify?
Objection to the relevance?
Grounds?
Overruled. The witness may answer.
I don't understand your question.
Were you able to hear my question clearly?
I don't understand your question.
Were you able to hear my question clearly?
Objection, argumentative, Your Honor.
Sustained. Next question, please. Or rephrase the previous question to the one that was asked just now.
What was not understood about the question that you were asked?
Objection, argumentative.
Grounds?
Sustained as to the form of the question. Please rephrase.
What wasn't clear about what I was asking?
Same objection, Your
Grounds?
It's the objection is sustained. Let's go back and ask the question that he says he didn't understand and rephrase it, please, or move on. Your choice.
Was your sole reason for testifying here today?
Objection, relevance.
Let's let Mr. Brooks get the question out. Go ahead.
Apologize, I thought that was it.
Are you testifying today strictly to prove your case to the jury?
Objection, misstatement of his testimony.
Grounds that that's what he said.
Sustained as to the form of the question, misstates the prior testimony.
That's what he said. So why did you decide to testify here today?
Objection, that's a legally inaccurate question, Your Honor.
Please rephrase the question. I'm sustaining the question asked as to the form of the question.
I don't don't know how I'm supposed to rephrase that. Without having the same form of the question. That helps.
I'll rule if there's an objection, but ask a question, please.
Did you seek to testify here today in this matter?
No,
So how did you ultimately come to that decision?
Objection, that's a misstatement, Your Honor. It was not his decision.
Sustained is to the form of the question assumes a fact, not an evidence.
Were you subpoenaed?
yes,
Do you recall by whom you were subpoenaed to testify?
District Attorney Sue Opper from the Waukesha County District Attorney's Office.
And at that time you were subpoenaed, you decided to testify.
I don't believe it's my decision.
Well, it would be fair to say that you didn't have to show up, right? That'd be fair to say?
No, I had to show up.
But would it be fair to say that you could have chosen not to?
No, it would not be fair to say that.
Exhibit 131 that was shown to you. Have you seen that video footage before today?
Yes, I have.
Do you recall who showed it to you before today?
I don't recall who showed it to me.
Would it be fair to say you've seen it multiple times before today?
Yes, I've seen it a number of times.
And do you recall when you were first shown that video?
Not off the top of my head.
Was it the same day of the incident, the days following, sometime after?
I don't recall when I saw the video the first time.
And what about Exhibit 130? Had you seen that video footage before today?
Objection, Your Honor, 130 is the map.
Or the map? Had you seen the map before today? I don't really think it.
Just for the record, I'll sustain the objection just because it referenced the wrong number, but I believe you rephrased. So go ahead, the witness may answer.
Can you ask the question again, please?
Had you seen the map of Exhibit 130 before today?
Yes, I have.
Multiple times as well?
Yes, numerous times.
Any idea why you viewed it so many times, multiple times?
Unsure.
Were you able to obtain any more information upon seeing the map numerous times that you didn't obtain when first seeing the map?
No.
So it would be fair to say you pretty much knew what the map was detailing each and every time you saw it.
Yes.
And on that map, Exhibit 130, you made reference to at some point the dotted line, and it stops at some point. That'd be fair to say?
Could you be more specific?
The dotted line that was referred to on the map.
Do you want the map brought up? Would that be helpful to you?
Or maybe might be helpful to him.
He's got the large map, but if you want to.
So, if you can see the dotted line on the map behind you,
Yes.
is it fair to say that the dotted line stops at some point? Around Central Avenue, maybe?
Yes, there's a couple lines that seem to come to Central Avenue or egress out of Central Avenue that do stop.
And you stated that, well, what was the reason that you stated that line stops, the dotted line?
I stated that it's because we don't know the exact location where you cross the street to get over to Elizabeth Street.
And why, were there no cameras present at that point, or how did you lose the path of travel at that point?
We didn't find any cameras or any eyewitnesses in that area.
So it would be fair to say at that point you weren't sure what happened.
I know that you crossed the street at some point. We just don't know where.
How do you know that?
Because you were arrested on Elizabeth Street.
Did you see any crossing of, I think you said that was West? Would that be West Avenue that you were referring to, that you don't see any crossing of?
What's your question?
Is that West Avenue that you stated that you didn't see any crossing of?
That is Northwest Avenue.
Or Northwest Avenue, I'm sorry, I don't know the streets. Northwest Avenue. And you don't have any visual footage or any eyewitnesses, as you said, to say for sure if Northwest Avenue was crossed.
We didn't obtain any witness statements or any eyewitness or any video of the suspect crossing the street.
And what day were you doing your part of the investigation? Was that the same evening or the next few days after the incident, or?
Can you clarify which investigation you're talking about?
The one that you took part in, your part of the investigation.
I don't understand what time frame you're asking for.
What day did you start your part of the investigation?
Well, we started the investigation as soon as he ran people over in the parade.
You were there?
I responded to the parade after he had done that.
Were you at the parade?
No, I was not.
So it'd be fair to say you were on call.
No, I was not.
So it'd be fair to say you don't know when your part of the investigation started then, right?
It would not be fair to say that.
You don't recall what time it was when you started your part of the investigation?
As soon as I responded.
And You don't recall when you were dispatched to respond?
It's in my report. I don't remember the time exactly, but it's in my report.
And at that time, did you know the identity or name of any alleged suspects at that time that you were dispatched?
The time that I was sent to the city of Waukesha, I did not know the identity of the suspect.
You made reference to a report. Do you recall when you wrote that report, or did you write the report yourself?
Yes, I typically type my own reports.
And do you recall when you submitted that report?
I have no idea what day I submitted the report.
So when you were first dispatched, what did you do?
I drove to the city of Waukesha and met with members at the Waukesha Police Command Unit.
And were you dispatched to any location from that point?
I was not dispatched.
Were you sent to any location from that point?
I was assigned with taking a number of investigators with myself and walking the entire parade route, going from establishment to establishment, bar to bar, restaurant to restaurant, and obtaining phone numbers and names of people who were present at the parade and who had witnessed something and would be followed up with later by a member of the Detective Bureau.
So it would be fair to say you did some interviews at that time?
Yes.
Do you recall how many?
No.
And after conducting these interviews, what did you do?
I went home.
So at that time, after conducting your interviews and then going back to your home, did you have the name or ID of any suspects at that time?
Yes.
And whom were you told by?
I don't recall.
Do you recall who you submitted your typed report to?
I don't understand your question.
Do you recall who you submitted your typed police report to?
No.
I'm assuming your law enforcement agency doesn't type up reports and just leave them sitting on the desk. Would that be fair to say?
That'd be correct.
Any reason why you wouldn't recall who you gave your report to?
Well, it's electronically submitted.
And from there, does it have a specific sergeant or lieutenant or captain or someone that it goes to from that point? if you recall, or if you know?
I wouldn't know.
So it'd be fair to say, once you type a report and submit it, you're not sure who sees it.
Correct.
Would you say it's fair that because of you not knowing who your report is submitted to, that your report can be altered in some kind of way? Especially being that you don't know who sees it?
The reports are done via PDF style reporting. It's protected by my username and my password. And when it's submitted, it's usually not altered unless I request it to be altered.
But it is fair to say that there's a possibility that it could be tampered with because you don't know for sure who all sees it.
It's entirely inaccurate.
How so?
My report is accurate. Right? My report is the way that it was written, the way that I wrote it myself.
So you've had a chance to read your submitted report after you submitted it?
Yes.
And to the best of your knowledge, is exactly word for word as you remember typing it?
It is my report. It is what I typed, and it is accurate.
Word for word?
Yes.
Do you recall how many pages long the report was?
Objection, relevance.
Grounds.
Sustained. Not relevant. Please move on.
Do you recall if the report was lengthy?
Objection, relevance.
Grounds.
Sustained. Next question, please.
Grounds for the sustain.
Relevance.
And you stated that you read the report after you submitted it. Do you know how long it was before you were able to see the report that you typed?
Objection, relevance.
Grounds.
Sustained.
Well, he already answered that.
Then I'll object as asked and answered, Your Honor.
Sustained.
That question wasn't answered, but okay. I see. Do you recall when you typed your report?
Objection, relevance.
Grounds.
Sustained. Not relevant.
How's that not relevant if he already answered that he typed a report?
Please continue, sir.
Grounds for the sustain.
Relevant.
He answered that he typed a report. So how's it not relevant if he recalls when he typed it?
Please continue, sir.
Got to be kidding me. Did you file any claim related to this matter?
No.
Do you know if anyone who did?
Did what?
Do you know of anyone who filed a claim in relation to this incident?
No.
Do you know who the plaintiff is in this incident?
Objection,
Grounds.
relevance.
You may answer that question. Go ahead.
Can you ask the question again?
Do you know who the plaintiff is in this incident?
Well, plaintiff would be the state of Wisconsin.
Is the state of Wisconsin a human being or entity?
Objection,
Grounds.
argumentative.
Sustained on relevance grounds.
Have you ever had any interaction with the plaintiff in this incident?
Objection.
Grounds.
Relevant, legally inaccurate.
Grounds.
Sustained as to the form of the question.
Were you ever contacted by the plaintiff in this incident?
Same objection. Your
Grounds.
Honor.
Sustained as to the form of the question.
Would you call the state of Wisconsin a living, breathing human being or
Asked and
entity?
answered.
Grounds, because I didn't ask that question.
It's not relevant. Sustained. Next question.
It's very
please.
relevant. Seems like there's no plaintiff.
Jury will disregard statements made by
Come on,
the
man.
attorneys
Come on,
they,
man.
and
You're
the
trying to
parties.
be
They are
slick.
not evidence. Please
Stop
ask
trying to
a
be
question.
slick. So to your knowledge, the plaintiff is the state of Wisconsin. Do you see him present in the courtroom today?
Objection,
Grounds.
irrelevant.
Sustained.
Can you
relevance.
identify the plaintiff state of Wisconsin?
Same objection.
Grounds.
Sustained. Sir, please continue with, and not on this topic. Next question, please.
To the best of your knowledge, you're not even sure if you've ever even had any interaction with the plaintiff state of Wisconsin, correct?
Objection, argumentative, and compound.
Grounds.
Sustained.
Definitely wasn't compound. Would you consider yourself an injured party in this incident?
Objection,
Grounds.
argumentative.
The witness may answer.
No.
Have you read or seen a complaint?
No.
No further questions.
All right, thank you, sir. Any redirect?
No, thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. You may step down.
Detective Rowe should be dismissed, please. And yes, could we get the exhibit?
Yeah, why don't you grab that exhibit and take it? That one has the exhibit sticker, correct?
Yes.
All right, we can keep it by the state for now, and then later on it can be brought over to the clerk. All right, the state may call its next witness.
Is there a call February